And we go live in 3, 2, 1. So how do you like my new mic?
It sounds great. That is awesome. Finally jumping into the mic game.
I know. I got jealous.
Yeah, it's great. And they're pretty cheap. You can get some for a decent price. And it kind of looks like we're official podcasters now. Like it's an official thing.
It's official now.
I think once you get mics, then it becomes official.
And it's got this really cool arm, so I can just kind of put it away.
Ooh.
And then bring it back. Right?
That's very nice.
It goes up and down. I like it. My wife bought it for me at Micro Center for an early birthday present. So
nice.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah, that is awesome. That is a great present. And it sounds really good. So it should be hopefully improving our audio quality if you're listening or watching. Hopefully it sounds pretty good. But yeah, I like it. Welcome to the club.
Awesome. So last week you mentioned the Phoenix Suns. So I want an update.
Because I guarantee you do not know. Have you
not.
watched anything or looked up anything? Okay. That's what I thought. For those of you that listened last week, I lacked faith. I'm going to say it. I lacked faith last week because I was pretty sad. Because when we recorded, the Suns were down 2-1. And we're not going to mention, but one of the Lakers' best players did get injured. But we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to talk about that the Suns won. And we moved on to the second round, and I am just over the moon about it. It is awesome. Like, I have waited so long just for us to be in the playoffs. So to have us win a series against the Lakers is just amazing. So it's an amazing feeling. And yeah, I think we got a good chance in this next round too. Like, I really think we do.
Nice. Who are you playing?
So we're playing the Denver Nuggets, and one of their best players is also injured, so hence gives us a shot. I think if they were fully healthy, it'd be a very tough series for us to win. But since that guy is out, since Jamal Murray's out, I really think we have a chance. So it could be conference finals for us, which would be amazing. I mean, that'd be awesome.
Nice.
So it has been well worth the wait, and I haven't been able to watch every game. But definitely watched the last game of the series in the first round. I watched that whole game and it was awesome. We've just been playing really well. So anyway, I don't want to talk basketball the whole time, but it's been awesome to watch. It's just so much fun watching your team play on the highest level, because I'm just so used to not seeing us when it gets to the playoffs. So it just feels different when you're watching your team.
I don't know what that's like.
Yeah, it's not really for any of the teams I follow.
Play the Super Bowl once, and that didn't go well.
Yeah, that didn't go well at all. We all know how that went.
And I don't think the Atlanta Hawks have done anything. So
they're pretty good this year, I will say.
Yeah,
I don't know. Okay. I know you don't follow them as closely, but they are in the second round. I just know they exist. So they are doing really well. They beat the New York Knicks. You know what?
I might get into basketball then.
Yeah, so they're doing really well this year. So they've got, I wouldn't put it past them. They got a good team this year. I don't know how far they'll go, but they're definitely competitive. So
sweet.
Yeah. If you want to follow
them. I don't know anything about basketball. I'm just waiting for football.
Yeah. Football season. It's around the corner. It's coming.
It's coming.
But yeah,
so that's all this podcast is going to turn into is about football once fall comes.
Because that's what people want. They want
that's what people want. They don't want to know about finances. They want to know about the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Yes. Very clearly.
Obviously.
So Suns, it's awesome. So I'm pumped about that. In other news, my wife did get me some more Suns merch to celebrate them winning the series. So I I have quite a few hats and t-shirts, but she got me another t-shirt. They've kind of had a new logo or new theme this year or the past few years that I really like. And so she got me one of those style shirts. So shout out to my wife for that. But we were at the mall, which eventually I'm going to segue this back into finance. I'm going to find a way. But we were at the mall. And so we were, shopping around, and then we ate in the mall. It had been a while since I've been to a mall, just to even walk around and see what they got. But one thing we did notice, and I thought this would be a good topic for us today, is in all the stores we went into and the restaurant, they asked us if we were part of their either elite club or like rewards membership program. I kid you not, every single one when we tried to check out. Or when we were seated at the restaurant, they were asking, "Are you part of our special, rewards program where you can sign up and earn points and get bonuses and all that kind of stuff?" So I thought that's something that we could talk about. I know in the past we've talked about subscriptions, but I think this is a different level of things since most of the time they're free. To join, you just kind of get perks for spending money there. And so I thought that'd be something cool for us to talk about, either a membership somewhere or, kind of a rewards program. So I'll leave it kind of general in that. So Cody, what are your thoughts on things like that, either at like a restaurant or a store, like a grocery store or, somewhere else about being a part of that rewards program and, having that membership?
Right. Well, the difference between it and like a subscription service, I'm going to say like also memberships that are paid. So for example, if you go to Sam's Club or to, I think Costco, or even like the Amazon Prime, things like that, that's you pay for that to be part of that. That, and you get some pretty good, stuff because of that, like free shipping or good deals. I mean, when you go to Sam's Club, there's a lot of good savings you can get there. That's paid. But what you're kind of saying is things that were free to sign up. And as long as you spend money there, you get a reward. So one that I can think of is like the gold plan or the gold membership with Starbucks.
Yeah.
Which we used to do in college a lot.
Oh yeah. Filled that.
I've got like Dunkin' Donuts. I know like, I think Little Caesars does it. My Google Play Store has it. Audible, a lot of audiobooks I like to listen to, that's got it as well. So it's just incentivizing spending money there. And so it's either like a point or it's usually just points or stars for Starbucks for whatever amount of money you spend. So if you, in my opinion, if you already do the things that, like if you already buy stuff there, if you already go to Starbucks every morning, then being part of a free rewards program isn't going to change. If that's not going to change your habits, then there's some savings to be had because you'll probably get a drink once or twice a month for free. So obviously there's some savings there. My only worry is, did that incentivize you to go to their store? So for example, Starbucks is usually the most expensive coffee shop, the chain coffee shop. Dunkin' Donuts tends to be cheaper. So if instead I just get coffee every morning, but I'm part of the Starbucks rewards program, does that make me want to go to Starbucks instead of Dunkin' or some other place that might have cheap coffee like Racetrack, which by the way has good coffee?
Shout out East Coast because West Coast
West Coast don't have Racetrack?
No.
Oh no. What do you have?
We got QT, Circle K.
QT's okay.
Those kind of things.
Okay. QT's okay. Circle K. But yeah, dude, Racetrack, man. I got good coffee.
Nice.
Anyway. Yeah, QT's okay. When they got the Peruvian blend, it's pretty good. They only do that like a couple months out of the year. But anyway. Where was I? If that's going to force you or make you think, hey, I'm just going to go to Starbucks because I'm going to get this reward, like you're spending more money than you should have. So, the whole point, this is what I was trying to explain. The whole point of the membership is to incentivize you spending money there instead of somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm afraid of is when we become part of those programs, if we're not, responsible with it, if we're not really disciplined, we may spend more money than we anticipated. And that's my fear with the whole situation.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's a good point about if it's already a part of your routine, why wouldn't you, right? I mean, if you're in the habit of, let's say you really love, we're talking about it, we'll just keep using Starbucks. If you really love Starbucks and you've got it in your budget that, okay, I get a drink, certain number, either one, whatever number frequency you get it, a week or a month, whatever your frequency is. And you're used to doing that, then why wouldn't you use the rewards to get points? it just makes sense. If you're going to go there anyway, you might as well use that. But to your point as well, if you're going to choose between a cheaper option, you kind of go either way of, well, I sometimes go get the cheaper coffee or, go somewhere else. Then it may incentivize you to buy the more expensive coffee. And so that's going to add up as well. And then I would just say that stores aren't dumb when they're creating these programs. They know the amount of money that you have to spend to get your reward there versus, what they're having to give you for free. So like a free drink at Starbucks. So I'd say keep that in mind of, yes, it is nice to have it on top of like, hey, you were already going to Starbucks anyway, might as well try to get a free drink. But to pursue it all out of like, I'm going to try to spend a certain amount so I can get my free drink. Like they know you're spending, how much you're spending and how much they're giving you with a free drink, that it still works in their favor. And so another thing I would mention is, still stick to whatever you have budgeted. Like I know sometimes it's tough, if Starbucks will issue a thing, it's like, hey, if you go 3 days in a row, or if you buy these drinks this week, we'll give you double the points, or we'll give you, however many stars. And so some people would be like, oh, but it gets me closer to a free drink, so why wouldn't I? But it's like, if you didn't budget to go to Starbucks 3 days that week, then you shouldn't be spending that just to get a free drink. It's not worth it for that point. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
So I think you just thinking of it as regular things that you do, then why wouldn't you get points for that? And then on the flip side, another thing I would say is like grocery stores. I think grocery store ones can be really good because you could just get, it's free and you can get regular discounts on like normal products. So it's like, it's $1 cheaper if you have the store membership. Like that's cool. Makes sense. But you also want to be, to your point, you want to be kind of wary of that, of like, are you going to that grocery store and is it more expensive? So just to give you an example, people on the West Coast, I know you don't have Fry's. I think you have Kroger on the East Coast, Cody. So our Kroger is Fry's. And, they have a point system and we have it. We use it. It's really nice because you can get fuel points, or you get savings. But the thing is like that may be a more expensive option for groceries than say like Winco, which is the place that we usually go to get groceries. And so just doing the math, going to Fry's and paying more for groceries just to get the points doesn't make sense. Like we still regularly go to Fry's because it's just quick to run in there and grab something. So we'll get the points for it. But as far as our weekly groceries, we don't focus on that just to get points because it's more expensive than if we just would have gone somewhere cheaper. So I think you have to keep that in mind as well. Sure, it's nice to have, but making your buying decisions based off of that, you really have to weigh how much are those points worth and what are you getting in free stuff. Because really, if you usually look at it, you have to spend a ton to get a little bit of free stuff, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's just how the stores have to work it. They have to design it so they're making money out of the whole deal. Yeah.
They're not dumb.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. That's one thing we need to think about. Like, especially when you think of like credit card companies, banks, any big corporation, they're not stupid.
Yeah,
they know what gets you to spend money. I like how you mentioned fuel points, because usually the fuel points come from, for me, Kroger, you Fry's, and then we have an Ingles. I don't know if you guys have Ingles.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
No Ingles. Okay.
Yeah.
But they will do fuel points like that. And as long as you spend money there, I think it's like every $10 is a point or something like that. And then it's like a cent off, the gallon of gas or whatever. So if you already shop there, no brainer.
Yeah, for sure.
But one thing I found out was usually they're a little bit more expensive. Even though I have the rewards, because it's free, I might as well have it if I got it on my phone. So I go into Kroger, and there's a couple of things that my wife and I like to get there that just have certain things that we really love. And so we'll go in there, get the two things, and then we'll go ahead to Aldi. Well, one day I was really lazy. I said, you know what, babe, we're already here. I just want to go home afterwards. Let's just go and grab the stuff we need here, and then we'll go home. Yeah, it was like $30 more than what it would have been at Aldi. Right. Aldi is, I don't know if you guys have an Aldi, but
we have a few.
They're really cheap. Okay. So when we did that, I did the same thing at Trader Joe's. They don't have a reward system at Trader Joe's. I just like Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
And I was in there and I was like, babe, I want to go home. Let's go. Every time I say this, it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
I did it in the Sam's Club one time. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
We don't pay for Sam's Club. We're part of a family plan with my parents. So I'll go in there once in a while and get something nice. But I was just like, let's just go and get our groceries. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
Just go to Aldi, please.
Yeah.
You'll save no matter
I
what.
guarantee you know, like that story, spending $30 more. I guarantee you didn't get $30 worth of fuel points,
No, you did not.
So I'd say you need to look at that, instead of just like, oh, I get points. All right. I'll do it. But it's like, usually you're not going to get that same value as if you just would have gone somewhere cheaper.
Yeah.
So I think it's, if you were going to go there anyway for your groceries, sure, get the points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Another thing that we can mention too, you talked about paid memberships as well. Things like Costco and Sam's Club. I think those are the same way of like, I think it's a different discussion if we're talking about buying in bulk versus regular, but you just have to look at, okay, how much are you spending versus, how much are you saving by going there? So I'll just say for my wife and I, we don't eat a lot of food. So buying in bulk isn't saving us a ton because odds are it's going to go bad by the time we get through it. Right. So right now it's just not as great of an option for us. But if somebody has a bigger family or, you could go through that, then maybe that membership there would be worth it to be able to buy in bulk and, use that. I just think sometimes we're just like, oh, I bought so much, but it cost you a ton. And are you going to use it? Or are you going to waste some of it?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you have to look at as well before you get a membership to those places. So I don't know about you guys, but for us, it's just not worth the money right now.
It's not. And going back to like the fuel points, if you usually there's some, you get a little bit extra if you spend over a certain amount. I believe it's like $100 there at like Kroger. You get like, I guess, another extra certain percentage off. Like my wife and I have to really work hard to spend $100 in a week for groceries, just because we've been so good at like trying to be really, really cheap on groceries. It's just one thing that we try to,
just so you know. Just kidding.
Oh, okay.
No, you're good.
We try to be like as low as possible on that because we want to try to spend it on other things. So that's the one thing we like bring down really low. But it's very hard like to do. And when we go to Kroger, like if the fuel point incentive was there, I'd be like, let's just go and spend $100 so I can go get, I got to get gas afterwards.
Things in the cart.
And we make like we do, I don't know what it really is. I need to see if this is an actual thing, but like we do psychological math in our head where we think like, well, if we do this, we save.
Yeah.
So I'm good, right? But did we actually do math? And we didn't, right?
Yeah.
Math is when you sit down, you open up a notebook, you write the numbers, you see which one is more, which one's less, and then you make a decision based on that.
Yeah.
But we don't do that. In the day-to-day, we do this like psychological math where we think, oh, I should buy this because there's savings. Mm-hmm. Jim Gaffigan has this great thing where he's like, and I forgot what pizza joint he's talking about, but where it's like, you buy the pizza and he's like, it's like a nickel. And it's like, well, I don't want to lose money on this. Saying like, if you don't buy it.
I think it was, he was talking about Big Macs at McDonald's.
Oh,
they were doing a sale.
Okay.
It was like buy one, pizza. Get one for, something, or they were like, like so nickel. Cheap. And he's like, he's like, I don't want to lose money on this.
I don't want to lose money on this.
I'll buy 80
and we
of
get
them.
that. Yeah, we get that all the time. That's a perfect quote of like our thought process is when we see something that's on sale or incentivized through like a membership or rewards program. And it's like, would you really buy that? So the answer is stick to the budget.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the budget, if you were already going to buy something, and you got a rewards program that goes along with it, go ahead and swipe that card. It's fine. Yeah. But don't make a decision because you have the card or the rewards program or the membership.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think that's good. And I'll just say, my wife and I do use these, rewards programs. I'll say the main ones we do have Starbucks. I know in finance, we're always talking about, making coffee at home, but every once in a while you want to splurge, get a coffee out. I think that's totally fine. So we
had
have
a nitro
that
cold brew today.
Yeah. It's like when you
It's
want to
great.
go out and get Starbucks, why wouldn't you just collect some points while you're there? Now, we're not
Mm-hmm.
altering our routine of buying coffee just to get points. It's just, hey, we routinely go to Starbucks, so we might as well get points for it. The other one that we use heavily is Chick-fil-A app. Shout out to them because we do use that quite a bit, I will say. And they give us a lot of free stuff because we regularly go to Chick-fil-A. It's just a nice place that that we pretty routinely go to. And so why wouldn't we get points for routinely going there?
Mm-hmm.
Now, sometimes where they do get us if they give us free stuff, like they'll give us part of the meal for free, and then we're like, oh, we kind of want to go there, so we'll just spend a little bit to get the extra part of it. So that's sometimes where we fall for it, but usually we're pretty good about that. And then the other one is fries. We'll have that for whenever we go. It's one of those places where it's like, oh, we got to go grab something real quick. We're just running to fries. So same when those things happen, why not get some fuel points, that we can use, if we ever have any. So I think that there's a good place for them. I think the main point, if you could take anything out of what Cody and I are saying, it's don't let it alter your buying behavior because you have this reward program. I don't think unless there's someone out there I don't know, there's a program out there I don't know of, it just doesn't seem like they're worth going there specifically for that program. But there are plenty where if you're going there anyway, might as well. If it's free, then, might as well get the rewards program.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it goes back to your behavior. And that's the part that we want to really hit home is if you have the membership, does that make you want to go there more? Is the psychology working on their behalf? And that's the part we really have to be careful of. So I would say if you do, like you said, if you routinely are doing this, if you go to Chick-fil-A 2-3 times a week, you do that anyway, and you're like, you know what? Just download the app. I'm going to save a little bit of money.
Might as well.
Nothing wrong with that. But like if you're used to like making lunches, or you just go to like Taco Bell at the dollar, shout out to Taco Bell, they helped me through college, and you just get the bean burrito because it's $1. But then you get the app at Chick-fil-A, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to go to Chick-fil-A, and you go over budget. Then that's the problem. There's the spending problem.
Yeah.
And so, it's like the same thing with credit cards. Yes, you can get points. Yes, you can, get miles or whatever it is. But if it's making you swipe it more, I would say get rid of it. I don't want anything that's going to alter your behavior. We need to fix the behavior before we bring in. So if you have a spending, say you think you may have like a spending problem, I would highly recommend just kind of pushing all those memberships and everything to the side and reevaluate everything.
Yeah.
And create some good habits. Maybe just go to the cheapest places possible, like a Dollar Tree. Do you guys have Dollar Tree, by the way?
Yeah, we have a few dollar stores. Yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
So like go to Dollar Tree, Aldi, a couple places like that, get some groceries, maybe even shop around for like gas and stuff like that. Don't use the credit card, stuff like that. And try to build good habits. And then when you've got those habits, then maybe start bringing in those memberships again.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good plan. And I think credit cards are, I don't know if we've covered them a ton. I think just people abuse them a lot. I think there's a lot of people that are kind of slaves to, the credit card they're just so used to depending on that and just really behind on payments and things. And we can get into that as far as, how people get into really bad credit card debt. But I think used wisely, it could be a tool. But I think for most people, it's just weary of it altering your spending behavior. So I think, if you have bad spending habits, that wouldn't be good fuel to add, to the fire of adding any credit card. But if you're able to handle things, or maybe things that don't fluctuate, like, gas, or just, bills, routine things that aren't like, things you can overspend on. It's just things you're regularly paying anyway. Then that could be an option of, okay, you can get some points for that, or cash back. But if you're like, oh, I can get more cash back, so I'm going to go spend more. Well, that, again, the math doesn't work out as far as what you're getting versus what you're having to spend. So I think if you use it in your regular, good habit, as you said, practice in your budget, then it could be helpful for you. But going out of your way to change your spending based off those rewards, I think is going to do more harm than good.
Yeah, absolutely. To build good habits with like credit cards, one thing that I did was not attach it to anything that was able to be impulse bought. I think I said that right.
Yeah.
So, for example, throwing it on your Amazon account, throwing it on, keeping it in your wallet in general. One thing I did was I just took the card and I threw it in my safe, and like throw the key away, don't worry about it. And all it was on my water bill, insurance, things that were reoccurring, things that had to be done. And that's one way that I kind of built my credit. And so now I actually have the credit card back into my wallet, but it's because I believe that I've, over time developed good spending habits with a debit card. Then now I can bring in the credit card and maybe swipe a little bit of gas and stuff like that. The one thing to keep in mind is that credit card companies make a lot of money because of debt. They don't make money because of the reward systems. So what we believe about debt. Don't have it. Stay away.
Yeah.
One thing that bothers me is there's a commercial. I think it's Capital One, or maybe it's Discover. It's whatever's the ones that says like what's in your wallet. I think it's Capital One.
Yeah.
But I was watching one of the commercials, and I think it was even Kevin Hart, and he's like just shopping, and his kid like walks up and it's like, "Dad, can I get this?" And he's like, "Well, because I have this Sapphire card, I can get a little extra, And he's like, "Sure," swipes. Like somebody walks by, and he's rich, he can do this, but we're talking about normal people. Somebody walks by, it's like, "Oh, I need this," and he's like, "Sure, I got it." He just swipe. He's just going through the town like swiping his Sapphire card. And he's like, "Because I get 5% back, I can get savings and I can do more." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you just bought like 30 things you normally would not have bought." Right. And he's Kevin Hart. He can do what he wants. But
for your everyday person, I think that's a great story of like, you're not getting enough back in cash back to justify those purchases. Yeah.
This is again that psychological math we do in our head where we're like, "Oh, I got 2% back, so let's buy the thing." No.
Yeah, you don't buy it because of the reward. You just get the reward if you're already going to buy it.
Do the math.
Yeah. So yeah, I think, I don't think you should make buying purchases based off that. I think that goes back to it. The point we're trying to hammer home with that. Because I just don't think it's worth it. Like 5%, 2%, whatever, number you're getting back. I mean, think about it. You spend $100, you get $5 or $2.
And that's if you like qualify for the Sapphire.
You know what I mean? And so it's like
most people, it's like $1.
Yeah. It's like, okay, man, that's really not going to add up to much unless you spend a ton. So it goes back to, if you're already routinely spending it and you're staying within your budget, then it could be a helpful tool on top of it. But if you can't control that spending, if you feel the urge to buy more because you have, a little more of a disconnect from the money leaving, or from you're incentivized by a rewards program, then I'd say I just would be wary of adding something like that in, because I just think you're going to spend more than you would otherwise if you just stuck with, your traditional method or without the rewards program. So I think with discipline, it can be rewards programs can be a great thing. But I think to your point, you have to establish that first, your discipline in your budget. And then you look at, okay, here's where I'm spending. Maybe there's a reward program that can help me along with that, rather than reverse saying like, oh, I can get rewards, so I'm going to go shop there. It's like, okay, I'm already shopping there, so you can get the rewards.
Right. One thing I want to mention about like rewards is there's also tiers in some programs. And this is where you really got to be careful because, going back to Starbucks app, if I remember right, because I haven't used this in forever. I did it in college though. There's like different levels of membership, and it had to do with how much you spent in a month. And like each time you spent, you got like points or stars, and then you got gold. And there was some great incentives. I mean, like free drink on your birthdays and like, 5% off, or I don't quite remember, but I know it's pretty good.
Some refills, I think, some free refills.
But 150 stars, it was a lot of drinks that you had to buy in that month. And I knew a lot of people in college that were so proud that they got to the gold plan. But the gold plan went away the next month, and then they had to do it again. And for a while, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And then I started realizing this isn't really incentivizing spending way more than I would. I never was able to reach the gold.
Yeah, like if you weren't going to go there that many times regularly, it's just incentivizing you to spend more there in the month, which you shouldn't have done. So that's another good example of like, if you spend a certain amount, or, if you spend a certain amount in a certain time period or things like that, go there a certain number of times. And so if it's outside of what you normally plan, then it's just going to make you spend more. That's all it's designed to do. Is spend more than you were planning on.
And one more on like credit cards is your credit score. I have heard this. Somebody wanted to build their credit score fast. So they're like, I need to go shopping.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a good one. Yeah,
it's not.
Don't do that.
No, like it's just incentivizing. I never thought of that, but I actually heard that. I heard that I needed to go shopping so I could build my credit score. So keep that in mind as well. Like again, these companies aren't dumb. They know the psychology. They know what makes you want to swipe, what makes you want to spend. There's studies done about bringing out a card and swiping or tapping. Now I tap. I've never done this before, but I finally got a new debit card, and I just tap it. It's awesome. But that doesn't hurt. I'll have to find the study about it, but there's apparently like a pain receptor when you're giving cash. You can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but if I remember the study right, if you give cash, like physical cash, it hurts more than when you swipe, and hurts even less when you tap. Now, me personally, I look at my bank account and I see it go down, and that hurts a lot. So I don't really think the cash thing is 100%, but I do know when I swipe the credit card, I don't see it on my bank just yet until I pay it. And I try to pay, like if I am going to swipe, I try to pay it immediately right after I swiped. So it does hurt, because spending needs to hurt. I'm just being honest with you. It needs to hurt. You need to feel something. And those credit cards and I guess reward systems and other things, like, does it hurt? So that's another thing to think about.
Yeah, I have heard of that study as well. That the farther you get kind of down that line away from cash, it doesn't hurt as much, because cash is like an exchange. You're actually having to give something away. I still use a debit card for when I do that, because for the same reason, I just see my bank account balance go down. And it's like, oh, that stinks. So I think there's some point of that to that as well. So don't let that, also be a factor, in your spending of like, oh, it's fine. I don't feel the money leaving because you're just swiping a credit card. I think that's another thing. Yeah, you got to be careful of, you want a little bit of a sting of like, oh, that hurts to spend. There's some things you want to enjoy using your money. If when you have it set aside and you have it planned, then it should be fine. But you don't want more, and you already have a ton of incentives to spend money. You don't want to keep adding more of like, more reasons to spend things money on things you don't want or don't need.
Yes, sir. Well, I think we're right about time, so we're going to wrap it up just a sec. But is the Suns playing this week? So are we going to be able to get an update next week?
Yeah, so they'll be happen? Playing.
Awesome.
Get a little bit of a break in between series, but they'll be starting up. So next week, Sweet. We'll see if I'm depressed or if I'm excited about how the series is going.
Awesome. If he wears a Sun shirt next week, then we'll know what happened. If he doesn't, then we just won't talk about it, and I won't mention it.
Yeah, we just won't mention it at all.
Okay, so remember that you got to wear a Sun shirt if you win. If you don't, I won't talk about it.
Okay. The series probably won't be over by when we're recording, but hopefully we'll get a gauge of how things are going by that time.
Gotcha.
We'll definitely give an update for those that care.
All right, guys. Well, we're about to wrap it up, but we appreciate you guys listening. Check out our website if you want to see more about us. And then you can also submit a question. We'll answer the question either directly or we'll answer it on the podcast. It's www.willandcody.com. You can also hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, all those good places. But anyway, we appreciate you guys listening, and we'll see you next time.